Another wake session, another strife and another life, and they blame it on depression. Another wife is the wrong or right, and they claim me under pressure. Another tripe and a suicide, we apply the same methods. It's like we'll never learn a lesson. We try to lie to make it better. Then everybody scrambling now, trying to figure out what to stress her. Why didn't he or she reach out where the world wasn't helping? Why couldn't he find just a peace of mind, let the world get the best of him? They call it mental healthiness. It's so weird when it comes to depression and suicide. These self-help sort of gurus try to apply the same method with a one-size-fits-all, and it never works. What the hell is this? Another fool shot up a school and we know the cat was sick. And all these dudes want to blame the tools, that's stupid as it gets. Another crew on the teletube blaming gun ownership. You can miss me with that mess, cause I ain't never shot a man. And the only time I would lay him down here aggressing on my fam. And you like to make it much harder for me to protect all my land. Crying crocodile tears so you can just feel good at grandstand. Bro, you stupid in a trance. No matter how much you get to sobbing on TV, every single gun law is an infringement. Period. Look, I ain't just saying this just to say this. The state is a criminal, crooked organization. So you look like a buffoon thinking that you can save this. Looking to Big Daddy government every time dismay hits. These fools done killed 250 million men and women and children, all due to their ill sins over the last century. So why would I fiddle with them? This crap is not meant for me. Let that power get reeled in. They act like I can't govern myself, so they keep running for help, begging the state to monitor wealth, and you'll get thrown in a cell. Deviate, they throw you in jail. Maybe you the one that's crazy with that bad mental health. So I think you really should back up. Man can't govern himself but can rule over everyone else. That don't even add up. And every time I'm bringing this up to you, you get mad, huh? But that's the reason I remain fearless and pick this pad up. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't a joke. State agents of it is really out there ruining people's lives, and that's the source of a lot of people's problems.
No threat to our Hotep, especially when the Hotep got the goddess mask off. He's working his ass off, trying to tell y'all goofy dudes what they planning. It's Hotep, Hotep. Hope you motherfuckers understand. It's Hotep, Hotep. Hope you motherfuckers understand. No threat to our Hotep, especially when the Hotep got the goddess mask off. He's working his ass off, trying to tell y'all goofy dudes what they planning. It's Hotep, Hotep. Hope you motherfuckers understand. It's Hotep, Hotep. Hope you motherfuckers understand.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Cannon Speaks. I am Cannon Hotep. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. I'm all recharged, refreshed, and ready to rock and roll tonight. Sorry about last night. I was loopy. I was tired. My daughter got sick on early yesterday morning, like around 3 in the morning, stomach thing. So I was up with her and then had to go to work and then everything, and then tried to stream. I was exhausted. But anyway, let's get into it. So check it, right? Hold on, so I'm turn this light up just a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. So I got a good show for you today. So check it. We're going to cover a couple of things. So the first story we're going to cover, apparently Elon Musk, his whole his Twitter acquisition went through. So we're going to touch on that. And did Nickelslick say the quiet part out loud we're gonna get into that too. But the main thing I wanted to cover today, that I didn't put in the description, is I want to do a recap on the testimony of what's the guy's name? Steve Cawthorn or Steve McGraw. Steve McGraw. Yesterday, they did the Uvalde hearing, and he had some damning things to say. So I want to recap that. So we're gonna touch on those two, the first two topics, briefly, and then we're gonna get into this full testimony. A lot of people didn't really know what was really happening yesterday. I didn't, until after my stream. I see a couple people stream. And I didn't even see nobody really streaming about it. I only seen a Donut Operator. Shout out to Donut Operator. He was streaming it, and doing a recap. But I heard some damning things today after the fact. Really interesting. So I want to get into that. But first, if you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Please share this stream. Let people know we're live. And if you're catching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I can use the constructive criticism. You know what I mean? The question of the day is, do you believe that the Uvalde police botched the rescue as badly as the media is saying? That's just a question to you guys. Leave it in the chat. Leave it in the live stream. I appreciate it. If you feel fit, you feel that I'm fit or worthy, leave me a super chat. Ask me a question. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you don't want to leave a super chat, you can always send me a cash app at, $Canon Hotep. I'd appreciate it. Keeps this train going. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first story we got is coming from the Houston Chronicle. So head on over to that. Twitter board unanimously recommends Elon Musk bid to purchase company. The board said in a new SEC filing that the deal is in the best interest of Twitter and its stockholders. Yeah, $44 billion. How you gonna pass that shit up? You know what I mean? Elon Musk's bid to purchase Twitter for an estimated $44 billion has been pending since April for several reasons. One of which is that Musk needs to win shareholder approval in order for the deal to close. It looks like things are moving along. A new filing with the SEC on Tuesday revealed that Twitter's board unanimously agreed to urge shareholders to approve the pending deal. Twitter's board of directors, after considering the factors more fully described in the enclosed proxy statement, unanimously determined that the merger agreement is advisable, and the merger and the other transactions contemplated by the merger agreement are fair to advisable and in the best interest of Twitter and its stockholders. All right. Adopted and approved the merger agreement, the merger and the other transactions contemplated by the merger agreement. The filing reads, all that legalese shit I don't understand. You know what I mean? Shit I don't understand. But that's what's up. Thing about it is, I don't know how to feel about Elon Musk. Sometimes he do some real benevolent shit, and then some days it's just like, yo, is he Skynet? You know what I mean? Is he gonna be a part of Skynet? Is he Telly Savalas? You know what I mean? Is he Lex Luthor out this mud? Got some questions though. We gonna free Alex Jones. We gonna free all the people that got banned. Are you changing the name? It's a lot of stuff. We'll see as things go along. But a lot of people looking at this shit like it's a win for the win for the freedom of speech, for the First Amendment. It's a win for America. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's a win, but we don't know yet. People put so much stock, right? People put so much stock into people and trends and the popular opinion, the court of popular opinion, that they never stop to think about it. Yo, is this dude trustworthy? Is this dude going to be the status quo? We know that Tesla is backed by the government, right? We know that Tesla received government funding and all that other shit, just like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that shit, right? They receive funding, so essentially the United States government kind of made Elon Musk, but I digress. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Elon Musk Lex Luthor? I would like to know. Speaking of that, let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got Jay Pylon in the building. I appreciate you. He says, Cannon recharged and fully loaded with the facts. Better listen when Cannon speaks. That's right. Hit him with the Don DeMarco. We got Handy Bob in the building. What's going on, Handy Bob? I appreciate you. He says, good evening, people. Jay also says Dems make up stories like they never met humans in real life. Case in point, T-Bone, Booker, and Swallowswell. We're going to get to Swallowswell, too. I want to touch on something, man. We got my man Robert Banks in the building. What's up? We got Jimmy Doss Hotep. Appreciate you, bro. Salute. Jay says, oh, shit, Oklahoma the only state to ban the red flag law. Shout out to the Okies. I hear that shit. That's what's up. Get that a round of applause on that. You know what I mean? My man DMW in the building. Salute. Jay with the $2 super chat. Yeah, I'm all rested up, bro. I'm ready to get it. Shook White, what's the deal? Appreciate you jumping through. We got Hotep Oz in the building. Hotep Oz, what's up? Jimmy Dawes said that's where I watched the recap. I can't believe it. You watching on Donut. I like Donut Operator, yo. He pretty dope. You know what I mean? Jay says Elon Musk equals Lex Luthor in real life. He about to unleash his villain arc. Number 44 is the Gematria Riddle. Ooh. Goofy on tight. What up, Luke? Worse. Charges should have been filed for the police dereliction of duty. Who gets in trouble for this in this country? I mean, who gets in trouble in this country? That's true. I agree. Dereliction of duty is exactly what they did in my opinion, but we're going to touch on that soon. Where's the accountability? What are we paying for? That's facts. Handy Bob says, it's not what the media is saying, it's what the evidence is showing. Facts. The police chief totally effed the whole situation up. Honestly, there is enough blame to go around, though. Yeah. Luke says, how does Musk cooperate with China? That's a good question. Hotep R says, everyone who didn't go in the school with the badge should be fired, then arrested, and pensions given to the victims of the shooting. I like that. That's true. I agree. But I guess we're going to see what's going to go on with old Elon Musk and with this Twitter acquisition. We're going to see how this plays out. It's going to be interesting. Is it going to be more of the same? Will it be a revolution on Twitter? I guess we got to wait and find out and see, right? I wish I had like the old Speed Racer music, when they leave you hanging and shit. I wish I had that shit. We need that. As you see, I got on my Frizzle over Fauci t-shirt. You know what I mean? Frizzle over Fauci, baby. Anyway. Luke with the $5 super chat. He says, did Elon leverage his family's emerald mine wealth to start companies and buy politicians to get government subsidies? Hey, those are the tough questions we need to know. That's exactly, we got SpaceX and NASA and shit. We know he got a government kickback from that, right? I'm sure he got a government kickback from Tesla. You know what I mean? I know they said he made his fortune on PayPal, but come on. We know better, right? Jay says harden the schools now, not later. Now. So before we get to the recap, I had posted on Twitter. I'm like, yo, did Joe Nickelslick just say the quiet part out loud? Right? So I want to know if any of you guys seen this shit. This shit is crazy. We about to go over here now and take a look at it. Let me see. Let's do that. Let's fade on over. All right.
Year, we do need more money, but we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. We have to think ahead. And that's not something the last outfit did very well. That's something we've been doing fairly well. That's why we need the money. Thank you. Year, we do need more money.
Let's let it run back.
But we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. We have to think ahead. And that's not something the last outfit did very well. That's something we've been doing fairly well. That's why we need the money. Thank you.
Jeez Louise, Joe Nickelslick saying the quiet part out loud, in my opinion. You know, now you could argue to say, well, he's saying just in case another pandemic happens, we need to be prepared for another potential pandemic. And I'm like, no, that's not what he said. He said another one's coming. He said we got to prepare for the second pandemic. Like, did y'all catch that? The second. I mean, when you're 80 years old and you see now and you can't fucking ride a bike without falling off, you can't walk up a flight of steps without tripping, you know, you go to the Vatican and you shit your pants. You come out yelling, my butt's been wiped. You know, what you expect? Powers to be probably love Nickelslick because they can just move him around like a puppet. Thing is, he don't know how to not say the shit he ain't supposed to say. All right? How many people caught that shit? How many people caught that shit? You know what I mean? How many people caught him saying that? You know, we gotta prepare for the second. You know what I mean? You know, the second Demic. You know what I mean? That shit's crazy. You know, but the greatest president of all time, everybody wants us to believe. Oh, the economy's never been greater. People want us to believe. Oh, it's the Putin price hike. It's not old Nickelslick's fault. Never mind that he shut down the pipelines the day he got in with the stroke of a pen. Never mind that he could stop this gas crisis by just opening up the pipelines, honoring the fucking permits, letting people frack and drill here, the companies here, get us back on track. Not only that, we could probably outsource and not outsource, but you know, start supplying other countries that don't want to deal with Russia on the fuel tip. See, people act like America's defenseless and we helpless and we got to import everything we need when we got all these resources here. Like I said yesterday, people talk about, oh, the Ukraine, they supply 30% of the world's wheat. Motherfucker, we got amber waves of grain. You know what I mean? Like I said before, and I said it on the Two Feds and the Truth. Go check that podcast out if you didn't. Two Feds and the Truth. It's on everything, wherever you watch a podcast. I said, yo, if we got a fucking orange juice shortage, right? We got an orange juice crisis. Why the fuck am I gonna go buy orange juice from Guatemala when I got Florida oranges growing? You know, I can do this shit myself. Cut the middleman out. Right? It's shit like that to let you know they're doing this shit on purpose. Not to mention, I've been seeing a bunch of these drop boxes popping up at all these schools and libraries and shit around Maryland, which tells me that they about to do this mail-in bullshit again, these penny savers again. Right? They need an excuse for that, right? Because last I remember, the national emergency was over. They need another national emergency to make those penny savers matter and count and justify them shits. Right? I mean, think about that. He literally said the quiet part out loud, and people was like, oh, he might have meant, a potential. No. He would have said potential. He said, we got to get ready for the second. The second. There's another. You know what I mean? It's bad enough that we finding out that he was fucking taking showers with his 13-year-old daughter. That's some creepy pedophile fucking nasty shit. Nobody's fucking talking about. Everybody willing to look the other way on. You know? Motherfuckers turning into fucking Stevie Wonder. You know? Shit is fucking ridiculous, guys. But hey, these motherfuckers was doing the fucking electric slide in the fucking street for him, right? He doing electric slide in the street. You know what I mean? Oh, he's gonna save America. Motherfucker Rick rolled the shit out of everybody, didn't he? He Rick rolled the shit out of everybody. He about to open the border up. He about to open that shit wide the fuck up. What are you gonna do with them 10,000 people marching this way? The motherfuckers gonna get secretly swept under the rug into America. We won't know it because we'll be focusing on some other fucking existential whatever or some other shit they tell us to fucking focus on. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. Jeez, they just don't give a fuck no more. Like, we're going to do this shit anyway. We're going to make this shit happen anyway. Fuck it. Let Nickelslick fucking talk. They can't stop us. That's what they think, y'all. That's the fuck they think. They fucking with our food supply. They fucking with our fuel supply. Right? Jobs are in the fucking toilet. You can't go to the grocery store without spending $100+ on whatever. Ladies, y'all can't even get a decent tampon right now. Not to mention, did you hear what he said? He said we gotta make more vaccines for children. For children. So that means what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to acquire that shit for your kids in order for them to go to school. Speaking of that, Hotep Nation has a homeschooling initiative, guys. Homeschooling initiative that we're trying to get underway. Go to hotepnation.com, right? Donate today. $1, $5, $10, whatever you can give. We're trying to get, all the resources that parents need to homeschool their kids in their state. Again, that's hotepnation.com/donate. hotepnation.com/donate. We're 501c3. You can write it off on your taxes. Again, that's hotepnation.com/donate. Let's see what you guys talking about over here. We got Ronan in the building. What's up? Much love, much love, much love. My man Jay said, the Musk wealth has no origin, though. None can be traced where the funds come from. Yeah. What up, Natasha? What's going on? I'm happy you can be here. We got K-Stacks in the building. What's going on? He checking in. Jay says, protect the babies. They're planning more cruel summers and dark winters. They are. You did. You saw us say pandemic. Oh, shit. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Let's see. Kayak Dog says the price of diesel is going to make it hard for farmers to harvest. That's correct. That's 100% correct. Talked about that last night. No, even I almost forgot about that shit. Tractors and fucking the machines they need to harvest, they all take diesel. People. You know what I mean? Natasha said, you go to the Vatican and shit your pants. I'm screaming. He did. Remember, they ain't really want to say what it was. He went to the Vatican and shit his pants. Shit is crazy. I got the hiccups now? Jeez. What up, Emmanuel? What's going on? My man Emmanuel Presley in the building. Natasha said the governor of Alaska straight up said we have enough oil to supply ourselves and all our allies. That's right. We do. Texas alone. You know, Texas alone. Hotep R says right off the 18, we're in by Highway 90, where they have at the falls you can visit. Oh, you talking? I'm sorry, y'all having a little conversation in here. I apologize. I'm reading your conversation and shit. That's all right, man. Get that money, yo. Get that money. You can always catch the replay. Always catch the replay, man. I appreciate you being here, bro. I appreciate you all being here. You know, I appreciate everybody being here. If you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification icon. Share this stream out. Let people know we're live. Let people know we're live. I appreciate it. You know, I would love to get to, 10,000 subscribers. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I would start my YouTube journey during the fucking height of censorship, right? I would. But it's all good, though. It's par for the course. My goal is to open eyes, get people thinking. That's what I'm trying to do. Just saying. What was that leak? I missed it. Where'd it go? Luke says they airlifted 180,000 people out of Afghanistan. Where are those people now? Kofi on tight, setting fire to food plants. Yo, Luke got some good questions right now, yeah. Let's see. What up, Freak Mac? Freak Mac in the building. That's right. If you're not stocked, time to start was yesterday. Facts. My man Hotep Oz says if you haven't planned on getting a cow, half cow or quarter cow, you need to start planning on getting some beef. That's true. Kayak Dog said FDA just gave emergency authorization to Seattle's Children's Hospital to give the jab to kids 6 months to 5 years. They're pushing it hard here. That's fucking disgusting. Are you serious? Protect the babies, man. Protect the babies. Jeez. Seattle Children's Hospital. So what happens if the kids' parents refuse to let them get it, right? You know what I mean? What happens? Did he get kicked out? Remember that shit with the Ronald McDonald House where it was kicking fucking families out? Because they wouldn't get the Yameen? Is that what's going to happen at the Seattle Children's Hospital? Andy Bob says they got 30 million doses to sell. Got to give it to someone. Jeez. The new Alexa feature will have the ability to mimic your family's voices, living or dead. That's some creepy shit. Y'all see it. Hotep Nation is dedicated to promoting homeschooling across America. Like I said, go to hotepnation.com/donate. Emmanuel Presley says that everyone watched Rand Paul ask Fauci if they had any data that the Yameen was effective on children, and he said no. Yeah, I seen it, but they've been saying that shit. And I believe you, Hotep Oz. Parents are lining up to get their kids all jabbed up, bro. You already know. Fucking crazy. Just go ahead and mortgage your kids' lives because you're afraid of some bullshit. But I digress. All right, guys, the time has come. What time is it now? It's 10:30. All right, the time has come. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to listen to Steve McCraw give his testimony, full testimony on the Uvalde shooting and police response. It's going to get a bit spicy, guys, so hang on to your seats. You might get pissed. Don't break your don't break your phones, don't break your TVs, don't break your computer monitors, please, because you might get a bit perturbed. Because the little minute clip I watched, I was like, are you serious? But Hotep's been told you. We knew how this shit was going. We had the same questions. He answering them right now. We're going to go over here to it. So let me go ahead and cut this music. And we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Again, if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification icon. Share this stream. Share this stream. Let people know we're live. You know, we got 18 in the building right now. Let's get some more people in here. And hey, you guys in the building that's watching, join the chat. I would like to know what you think of what we're about to listen to. Let's get it.
Mr. Chairman, Senators, Stephen McCraw, Director of Texas Department of Public Safety. As Senator Gutierrez noted, it's been 28 days since the senseless massacre of 19 innocent children and their 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School. Much has been done, but much more needs to be done before this investigation is completed and presented to the District Attorney, Christina Mitchell, for her review. However, we do know this. There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre. 3 minutes after the subject entered the West Building, there was a sufficient number of armed officers wearing body armor to isolate, distract, and neutralize the subject. The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children. The officers had weapons, the children had none. The officers had body armor, the children had none. The officers had training, the subject had none. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds.
Jeez.
That's how long the children waited and the teachers waited in rooms 111 to be rescued. And while they waited, the on-scene commander waited for a radio and rifles. Then he waited for shields. Then he waited for SWAT. Lastly, he waited for a key that was never needed.
That's what had me pissed. We saw the pictures of the cops all kitted out, plate carriers and shit like that. They got sidearms. Some of them cops already carry a rifle in their fucking their car, right? Shotgun, shit like that. They've been training for this shit. Hell, I believe they had a training happening the week prior to this shit. But the on-scene commander shows up without his fucking radio, which is fucking just crazy. How you show up without your radio? What the fuck was you doing? But instead of saying, fuck it, let's go in there and get this son, bitch. Oh, we gotta wait for my radio. Oh, hold on, let's get these ballistic shields. Hold, let me get some more rifles up here. Sound like the on-scene commander was bitching up. When the lives of babies are at stake or the lives of any innocent people at stake, you go in. Period. Full stop. But 14 minutes and 58 seconds, that's a long fucking time to leave them babies defenseless and helpless. Run that back.
1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. That's how long the children waited and the teachers waited in rooms 111 to be rescued. And while they waited, the on-scene commander waited for a radio and rifles. Then he waited for shields. Then he waited for SWAT. Lastly, he waited for a key that was never needed. The post-Columbine doctrine is clear and compelling and unambiguous. The post-Columbine doctrine. Then he waited for SWAT. Lastly, he waited for a key that was never needed.
That part. How many times we heard in these stories, right, that the door was locked. They couldn't get in. They couldn't breach the door. The door was locked, right? Apparently, you can't lock the door from the inside. Apparently, the door was never locked. They had these accounts of how we was trying all these keys and none of them worked. When apparently the door was never locked in the first fucking place. That's why he's saying they hit the key that they never fucking needed. You gotta lock the doors from the outside, apparently. Which makes sense because I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, and if a teacher wanted the doors to be locked to their classroom, they had to go out the classroom, lock the door from the outside, and then come in. I remember that. Luke got a point. Shoot the hinges off the damn door. Facts. But you already got enough personnel there. You already got enough officers in there to go in there and do work. You waiting for a SWAT? 14 minutes and 58 seconds. Let's keep it moving, guys.
The post-Columbine doctrine is clear and compelling and unambiguous. Stop the killing, stop the dying. You can't do the former unless you can't do the latter unless you do the former. Certainly, some things were done well, and even very well. The teachers quickly implemented active shooter protocols prior to the subject gaining entry. In fact, one teacher was able to call 911 and report that before the subject entered the campus. Law enforcement officers were able to evacuate hundreds of children in a safe and orderly manner. The district attorney, Christina Mitchell, and her staff led tireless efforts to take care of the victims and their families in the aftermath. And Senator Gutierrez talked a little about victim identification and victim notification. That is always a priority after such a tragedy. Very difficult to do, and she did an outstanding job in trying to handle that situation, blending all the different resources from local, state, and federal agencies at the time. Importantly, what I'd like to know that at the time of this death, or first of all, I'll go a little before I go to the timeline. I just want to cover one more thing, if you don't mind. Is that
he killing me with this wordless original, whatever the fuck he got in his mouth. God damn, just eat the fucking candy and keep it moving. I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
With your permission, to quickly review some of the pre-attack events is what I'd like to do. I just think it's important to note, plus this is not just a DPS investigation and Texas Ranger investigation. We've worked closely from the beginning with all federal agencies and all agencies on the scene. In particular, on the investigative side, the FBI has provided tremendous resources, hundreds of agents, covered leads throughout the country, throughout the world, and also enhanced the videos with technology capabilities that they have back in Quantico. Very important to do, to get to the facts, to see exactly what happened. Because one thing is witness statements, another thing is video and audio recordings, period. So we're grateful for them. We're also grateful for ATF in terms of the initial phases as it relates to the firearms and weapons that were involved and ammunition. And their efforts continue. In fact, we'll continue to use the FBI in this regard. There's more interviews to go. We got re-interviews to do. So again, we're not done at this point in time, and we won't be done until the district attorney is satisfied that the investigation is completed and we're satisfied that what we have is correct. I can tell you just a quick overview of the subject. At the time of his death, he was 18 years old, lived with his grandparents on Diaz Street, which was 0.29 miles from Robb Elementary School. In fact, he attended Robb Elementary School 1 year, and that was 4th grade, in the very classroom that he was killed. He communicated extensively on several different social media platforms, including gaming platforms with individuals. And what's disturbing about some of the communications is that over the timeline, and you look at them, it's almost as if he's communicating with people that's, if not supportive of the school shooter community, if there's such a thing, but certainly empathetic and sympathetic, as if they support. Look, it's a good thing. You get notoriety, you get points for being a school shooter, and it's obviously disturbing. And as a result of that, there are several messages. If we go back and look and assess after the fact, what could we have done, law enforcement, to prevent this before even happening? And that was the call after Santa Fe. Well, what can we do? Yes, we responded well, but what we can do to prevent it? And that was the focus, and it still is a continued focus. But we have yet to identify even one report to the school or to law enforcement that discussed animal cruelty, that discussed many things are described, a morose, suicidal, fatalistic loner who had sympathies with and been called a school shooter. He certainly took on the persona of a school shooter in dress and demeanor and over the last year. And people noted this, but yet it didn't get reported. So there's clearly we did have and leveraged also the FBI's behavioral analysis unit, which is very good. Experts that independently look at this and look at the shooter and ask the question, could we have intervened? If we'd have known, could we have done something? And the answer is almost overwhelmingly yes. So when you go back and look after the fact, there's always things that could have been done if we would have known. That's why it's so important that the public reports this. So important, even if it's suspicious. Give us a chance. And we certainly know that we arrested a 13 and 14-year-old in Uvalde for planning an attack on Uvalde High School back in 2018.
So he's saying the signs were there. He's saying the signs were there. He said that they found these messages on these boards for video games. I don't know if he's trying to go after video games. I still stand by the fact that you can't blame a fucking video game for kids the way they act. Now, granted, these kids nowadays don't have any personality, and they find personality in anything. Favorite rapper or a singer or actress or whatever, because these kids don't have any, I don't know, they like fucking NPCs. They all are. It's fucking crazy. But the signs were there, and he's saying that. The signs were fucking there. He said they were able to arrest a 13-year-old that was planning to shoot up a high school. Uvalde. Just by a little due diligence.
And they were charged with attempted or conspiracy to commit capital murder. That's what right looks like because the public reported it and it was investigated. And that's what right looks like. We know that, I mentioned a number of statements. Also, at least 8 months prior to the attack, he was moving towards on what they would call a pathway to violence. He'd asked a family member to purchase him a weapon. Refused. He was 17 years old at the time after he dropped out of high school on October 28th. Other messaging, other conversation. He also began buying things, and several purchases for rifles, accessories, specifically magazines. He didn't have a rifle. He purchased magazines. He purchased slings. He purchased high-end optics, and he had money. He had money in a joint bank account, and I can't discuss some of the specifics. It's issued through a grand jury subpoena. But he had money and a joint account with his grandmother and used a debit card to make those online purchases, several online purchases, at least 6, prior up until the day of the attack, or actually to the day of his birthday, May 16th. On May 16th, he was eligible to purchase a weapon. He purchased 2 5.56 millimeter rifles, one higher-end version of it. He purchased as many as 1,740 rounds through an online retailer and was able to purchase it. Was delivered to that residence at a later time. He purchased another 375 rounds of ammunition within that same couple of day period. We know that on May 14th, he placed online, he messaged, make it very careful, messaged online on these social media platforms, various different ones, 10 more days. Someone responded, what are you gonna do, shoot up a school? No, you'll see. Those types of things are those words are out there, but yet not reported 10 days before. And of course, very disturbingly, many messages that occurred on the day of the attack on May 24th. And, to a number of different friends, some tell them delete your messages along those lines. You'll see what's going to happen. And he was in communication many times in messaging and earlier FaceTime with a 15-year-old juvenile, and it was in Germany at the time, and told her, and I quote, I'm going to shoot my grandma in the head. And he later, I just shot my grandma in the head, and I'm going to go shoot up an elementary school. That was at
He was telegraphing his punches the entire time. Telegraphing his punches the entire time. You know, blowy op or not, he was putting that shit out there. Telegraphing them punches. Nobody says shit. Nobody, you know, they just let that shit go because, you know, they don't give a fuck about nobody else but themselves. Hey, hell, maybe they thought he was bullshitting. But, fuck that. You know what I mean? Motherfucker kept harping on it. So it's like, yo, this dude a problem. But nobody saw to fucking tell anybody. I couldn't be on that fucking message board like, yo, this dude a school shooter. I might have had to be like, yo, y'all might want to look into this dude.
11/21 when that happened. 11/21. And with your permission, Chairman, I'd like to go to the timeline. And these events are taken from audio, video, body camera, 911 tapes. And so it's not subject to interpretation. It's simply subject to transcription. And you have a copy of the timeline in front of you. And I'll begin on page 1. And I'll try to quickly go through them. 11:28, and I'm going to round off the times. I'm not going to say the seconds, but I'll do it in order. The suspect crashes his vehicle into a ditch. Okay, this was at the intersection of Goss and Gerardine, in front of the school and in front of a funeral home. The subject didn't have a driver's license. The subject couldn't drive. And when he did drive, he was described as having problems with taking a turn. So people wonder, why, crashing like he did when he also attempted to turn, almost left, but then crashes into a ditch, a concrete ditch, and right in front of the school. If he's really going to the school to do something, what's his destination? Well, his destination was Robb Elementary School. There's no question about it. He did crash. Once he crashed, 2 males from the funeral home went out to see how he was. And at that point, that was 11:29. We heard a teacher. This teacher was inside the school, by the way. The teacher, was observant enough inside the school. She calls 911. Now,
the guys that he encountered from the funeral home, right? The guys he encountered from the funeral home, they interviewed one of the guys. He said they took on fire. They got, took cover. He called his wife, told her to bring his shit, right? She get up there, bring him what he need. He ready to go up in there and get some get back, right? Police stop him, don't let him in, but they ain't doing shit. He say he got a family member in that elementary school. Got a family member in that elementary school that he said he had to she passed. Apparently, she was one of the victims that he had to go prepare her grave. And he damn near cried on TV saying, he wished he could have made a difference. That just stuck out to me. That was, that was a sad story. But let's get back to it.
And reports a man with a gun. That was 11:29. 11:31, the suspect began shooting between, the suspect had shot at, the individuals that came from the funeral home. Now he left 3 rounds. He shot 3 times at him. Missed him. One of the individuals got up, and they continued on, and of course reported that later. 11:31, the suspect begins shooting at the school. And there's classrooms on the West Building. And if we have the diagram on my left here, you can see this right here. So you can see the Diaz Street location, and you can see the west entrance. And if your permission, if I can stand up, Chairman, to be able to point that out. Okay, this is Diaz Street. Diaz Street's up here, 0.29 miles around. This is Goss Street. This is Gerardine Street. This is the funeral home I talked about. This is where he crashed, right here. The crash location. He was trying to make the turn here and crashed. It was his grandmother's pickup truck that he crashed in. He climbed out on the passenger side and took with him one rifle. He took with him his backpack at that point. That's when he shot at, when I described the time he shot at those two individuals, ran back to the funeral home. Then he situates himself, he moves to a fence. The fence is approximately 4 feet, throws the bag over, jumps over the fence, and proceeds in this direction. And the red on your chart is the direction that the subject is moving. As he moves,
that's a long ass walk. That's not a long walk, but that's a decent walk.
Along this area, he gets into this area right here. He begins shooting. Okay, as he's been shooting into the classrooms is what he's doing. He's initially right here, and on the timeline, if I go back up to the timeline,
that's what, about 150 yard walk.
For you Uvalde PD officers, okay, let me, higher up here. Okay, multiple shots. In fact, he shot 27 times as he proceeded, as he walked along here. He dropped the backpack here for no apparent reason. He was situated right here among cars. There was cars at the time. And as he walked, he shot into these classrooms. There's 2 classrooms. There's actually 4, but 2 he shot into. There's 4 windows, 2 windows on each.
Man, I know he's doing the timeline, but I want to know. So he shot at the people at the funeral home first. I would assume that the funeral home would have called the police, right? Then he starts shooting at the school, and I would assume that somebody in the school would have called the police. I want to know what the initial response time was for the police getting there. Not them standing around, but what was the initial response time of the police getting there? So hopefully they get to that.
He was firing into those classrooms. He proceeded to the west building, or the west entrance of the building, what we're calling the west. We're calling this east, and this is the south entrance. He proceeded in there. He opened the door. It was open. It was unlocked. I know there were reports before about a teacher putting a rock in it. That's a practice around the school, practice in many schools. Yes, that did happen, but that same teacher also removed the rock. It was the same teacher that called 911 and reported a man with a gun outside the school and the crash. So he also called the alarm, and the school goes into a lockdown, active shooter. And they get the kids, and I won't go through the protocols, but they did what they were supposed to do in that regard. And one of those things is to lock the interior doors to the classrooms where the kids are at, lower the lights, and put them in a particular area the furthest away from the windows, furthest away from the door as possible. As the teachers were trying to protect the kids throughout the entire campus, he entered the west building here. Now, I can tell you from the door aspect, we can discuss the door a little bit later. You may have questions on it, but it was open as he walked in. Thanks.
Okay.
This is where he is. Red indicates the subject. As he walks in, it's about 20 feet when you walk into this corridor, this east-west hallway. Then he's in the north-south hallway. He turns left. Then he approaches, and you can't tell from the video. The challenge with the school video is it's a fisheye video located at this location. A little different than the video that we had at Santa Fe. So the view is very distorted. You can't see all the way to here, and you certainly can't see very far over here in the first iteration. The second iteration, we got a little bit better when it was sent back to Quantico to be enhanced or enhanced the second time. You can see much of what's going on. It provided a much clearer way for us to document exactly what happened in that hallway over that 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. The subject lines up here. What you can't see, it's inset in here. What you can't see is which classroom he's shooting into exactly. But he's shooting at either 111 or 112 initially. Overall, there was 24 rounds that were left, recovered out here, 27 in the hallway. Now, some of those rounds could have been, when we're evacuating, first responders are evacuating, trying to save lives, could have drugged some of those rounds out there. But for right now, it appears, and when we finish with the trajectory analysis, we'll be able to tell you how many exactly were fired by the subject into that room and how many were fired out by the subject. But for right now, it appeared we had 27 rounds recovered in the hallway. The only shooting was not in this direction, it was in this direction here. He walked up the door, he opened the door and walked in. Okay, then we heard shooting. As the timeline suggests, and through audio enhancement, we can hear how many shots were fired. Initial barrage of firing occurred within, 100 rounds occurred within the next couple of minutes. So you can go up on the timeline here. Again, shooting at the classroom, 111 to 112. He enters to 11:33. So we're talking about 32 seconds after he enters, because he entered West Building at 11:33. So the crash is at 11:28, enters the building at 11:33, or 11:33 exactly.
We're learning more.
And 11:33 in seconds, again shooting at the classroom, and then he enters into what we believe is 111. I say believe, okay, at this time, 111, and he begins shooting. If you go over your timeline, look at, you'll see more than 100 rounds were fired initially. Another 11 rounds were fired at 11:37, okay, and injuring 2 officers were approaching. That the rooms, the walls inside the interior are sheetrock, and bullets go through. The 2 were grazed at that point, retreated. I can tell you at 11:36, as we mentioned before, you had 3 Uvalde PD officers enter the west door. 11:35, 11:36, 2, and 2 Uvalde PD officers. So we had 4 officers, 7 officers right now in the building at 11:36. So that's pretty quick time. Considering
I was going to say that, right? So it looked like they had a fucking fast response time considering, right? So you got 7 officers in the building. 7 officers in the fucking building. What happened? Right? They said he took fire. You know, bullets went through the sheetrock. I got you. But what happened? I mean, what happened?
There was never a school resource officer on the scene. A school resource officer did respond, and when he responded to the location. He heard a man with a gun. So he's off campus, he's in his vehicle, he responds rapidly. As he does, he sees what he thinks when he drives in, he sees what he thinks is the subject back here. It wasn't the subject, it was a teacher. He drives directly towards that subject, the teacher, and says, "I'm out with the subject." So it had already been reported on the radio, man with a gun, okay, at the school, after a crash. He thinks he's got the subject. He drives quickly. He drove, over 50 miles an hour into it, going towards the subject. And unfortunately, that wasn't the subject. The subject was right here. He passed the subject as he went.
Are you serious?
That's why.
So he was moving. The subject was walking, and he fucking drove right past him. Jeez. So check it. I want to jump over to this other video, right? We'll get back to that in a second. Let me see. We'll get back to that video in a second. Let me see something. Here we go. Let's check this video out real quick.
As well as taking down the gunman. Of course, this raises new questions about the police response, what they were.
Tonight about the timeline of the school shooting in Uvalde and the resources police had available. KVU's senior reporter Tony Blahetsky joins us now. And Tony, you sat down with law enforcement and were able to review surveillance video and body camera video from inside the school.
And Brian and Quita, what we know at this point is that within 19 minutes of officers arriving at that school, they had rifles as well as ballistic shields that, in the minds of some people who are reviewing the evidence in this case, would have given officials enough ability to take down that shooter. Keep in mind that almost an hour passed before they then went inside that classroom and found the bodies of those 19 children and 2 teachers, as well as taking down the gunman. Of course, this raises new questions about the police response.
So look at this shit, right? I see a couple of ARs. I see a fucking ballistics vest. Shield, right? You get I'm no fucking tactician. You get one person on that fucking shield and y'all stack up behind him. He peep his head out. Y'all take some shots. I'm just saying, you run down on that nigga and take him out. That ballistic shield is made to take, Handy Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, that ballistic shield is made to take, it could take a couple of hits from a 308. So a 5.56 round ain't really going to do a whole lot with that ballistic shield. You know?
What they were armed with at the time and why they did not act sooner. There is a lot of new information in this case, as well as a new timeline that investigators have put together. And Brian and Quita, much of this information is actually going to be presented tomorrow here in Austin at a Senate hearing that is hearing testimony from law enforcement as well as members of the public about what happened that terrible day.
And Tony, what we saw there was a screenshot of that video that's going to be presented. Is that correct?
Quinn and Brian, it's unclear the entirety of what all is going to be presented, but as you mentioned, I have seen some of the video evidence in this case, was able to watch some of this video information. And again, the video, the screen grab that we have does show some officers with rifles, as well as a shield, a ballistic shield. Again, this screen grab was taken at 11:52 in the morning on May 24th. This screen grab, again, showing the officer, at least one officer, although there were several with assault rifles and other weapons as well. And then on the bottom of your screen, sort of to the right there, you can see one officer does have a ballistic shield. Again, this was about 19 minutes. Looking at the timeline, this was about 19 minutes from the time that the gunman entered the school at 11:33 in the morning. But again, Quita and Brian, about 58 minutes passed from the moment this screen grab was taken to the time that officials ultimately and law enforcement ultimately made entry into that classroom.
Even after they got their ballistic shield, even after they got their ballistic shield and the rifles, right? Not to mention, we just heard the guy said that, in the other, the video they're watching, that they, some of the initial officers on the scene already had kits, right? But let's just say that 19 minutes passed, they got a shield, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I'm no tactician, the lead person grabbed that shield, you pull your fucking, your pistol, and you walk in. Got your other people, you got your other officers stacked behind you, ready to take shots so the kid pop his head out to do something. Where was all this fucking training that these guys had or just got the week prior? Sound like a bunch of them was scared to me. And look, I get it. Law enforcement's hard. I get it. I got friends that are police officers. I would never like, talk down about it, but it sounded like these officers were afraid. Just saying. Or maybe they wasn't. Maybe they had stand down orders, because this fucking the commanding officer, this motherfucker seems sketchy. He seemed a bit skittish, what we've been hearing.
Is other information that we are going to be hearing tomorrow as well, including a transcription of the Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo, whose name we've all become familiar with.
So let's get back to the other video we were watching, because I'm interested to hear his whole recap.
Fusion early on. Now, the doctrine for active shooters is clear. I mentioned before. and you know, it's two sets of it. Hey, you stop the killing, you stop the dying. The other part of that doctrine is you isolate, you distract, and you neutralize. Everyone's taught this. You require it in teaching training. We practice it. We preached it. This is the doctrine, and it recognizes that you run to the sound of gunfire. You know, when you get to gunfire, you don't stop. Okay, when you get there, you run into gunfire. Okay, and it's so important to do so. And I'll tell you what, and I've said it before, and I hope I underscore this. There's no doubt in my mind that those officers would have gone. Any one of them would have sacrificed their lives for those children. Any one of them, if they knew there was kids in that room that were, and teachers in that room, I have great confidence that those police officers, those local officers, would have done what was right. 1140, well, we have chief. 1140, we have chief. Well, first report: officers contained in the office. Contained is not a word for active shooter. Contained is a barricaded subject. Contained is a situation where you may have a hostage. You need a SWAT team. Okay, you have time. The C's, you know, first you contain, then you communicate with the subject, then you call for SWAT, then you create an immediate action plan. That's not what this was. This was never anything more than an active shooter situation. But at some point, he's contained in the office. Then we have Chief Ariano calls Uvalde PD. It has been reported he did not have a radio with him. He did not. That was actually true. That was correct report.
You're on duty, but you don't get your fucking radio with you. Why not? Where the fuck was you at? What was you doing? And fuck it, okay, you ain't got your radio on you. Take one from one of your officers that ain't going in. I'm waiting for a radio. Take one of the, yo, give me your radio. Shit is nonsensical to me, people.
And this is the conversation that he had, and you can read it yourself in your notes. But all this for purposes of this. Chief Ariando, hey, it's Ariando. Can you hear me? Well, I have to tell you where we're at. It's an emergency right now. I'm inside the building. Where this man has an AR-15. He shot a whole bunch of times. We're inside the building. He's in one room. I need a lot of firepower, so I need this building surrounded with as many AR-15s as possible. Can you hear me? The dispatcher responded. You can be heard talking in the background and asking what room number. The chief. Is the teacher with him? Is the teacher with him? Is she in the room as he's in? Can you hear him? Ma'am? Dispatcher, I'm right here. Chief, ma'am, is the teacher with him in his classroom? Dispatcher, she's in another classroom. She's in room 102. Another person possible shot across from her. It wasn't 102, it was 112. Is the accurate number. Chief Ariando, okay, we have him in the room. He's got an AR-15. He's shot a lot. He's in the room. He hasn't come out yet. We're surrounded, but I don't have a radio with me. Please let all units know he's going to be in a room. He's in room 111 or 112, and we're in here. I'm in the hallway. Sergeant, another sergeant are here. We need this place surrounded, and if you have SWAT, I need them to set up south side of the building, which is the nearest to the location to the funeral home. Wow. Dispatcher confirms SWAT location. Chief Ariando, yes. They need to be outside the building and prepared because we don't have enough firepower.
So you need SWAT, right? Fuck you. If he entered the West, why you got him? I don't get it. Excuse me. I don't get it. You set them up in the South Side. I want them prepared. No, they need to fucking make entry immediately as soon as they get there. First off, SWAT shouldn't have to come. SWAT should be on their way. But this shit should have been resolved long before this shit. Like he said in the beginning, 14 minutes and 58 seconds had already passed before this transcript happened. That's the problem. Then in the other video we just watched, once the ballistic shields and ARs got there, that was 19 minutes had passed where he could go. Apparently, there like the rooms were adjoining. So I guess he had access to both. Ooh, excuse me. He had access to both. This shit should have ended. Y'all should have been coming through the fucking window, through that fucking door. Put his ass on the defensive. Take the attention off them babies.
Right now, it's all pistols, and he has an AR-15. You can get the SWAT team set up by the funeral home, okay? And we need, yes, I need more firepower in here because we have pistols, and this guy's got a rifle. So I don't have a radio. If somebody can come in, the dispatcher, Chief Ariando, but I am going to drop it when he comes out of the door, all right? So I need you to bring a radio for me and give me my radio. For me, I need to get one rifle. Hold on, I'm trying to set him up, or set him. I'm going to set him up right now, okay? Do me a favor. Call me when SWAT is set up. I'm going to have you a vibrate, though. Call me twice if you have to. It's okay. All right, thank you. Questions have been asked about who's in charge. Much to the chagrin to some, that when people believe and what they hear, that when the FBI shows up, no, they're not in charge, okay? When other agencies show up, you're not in charge. It's the agency that has the original jurisdiction is in charge. But you have options. Just because you're in charge and you have the authority and you're the ranking official, senior official on site, you can actually delegate that down. In my case, the lower I delegate it, the better, in terms of sound decision making. Or you can delegate it to another agency, or you can ask another agency to take the lead.
So I'm going to jump forward in interest of time.
In ICS, in incident command. We practice that in Texas. We always practice it. We preach it. We're very careful, and you'll find when you talk to the experts in the alert training program, as self-deploying as a risk. Deciding who's in charge, deciding it on your own to take action without it being properly coordinated is a risk. It's one of the challenges you have in these type of situations. But nevertheless, in terms of if you're going to issue commands, okay, if you're going to direct action, you're the ranking official from the agency that has jurisdiction, you're the on-scene commander. Gunfire happens again at 11:40. Let's assume that was a barricaded subject. He was contained. Well, he fires again, and he's room 111 or 112. It's not reasonable to expect that there's children and teachers in that room still alive.
Right.
1141, Uvalde PD officer. We believe that he's barricaded in one of the offices. They're still shooting. More misinformation. He's not barricaded in an office. Okay, he's in a classroom, 111 and 112. Dispatch asks if the door is locked, to which a Uvalde PD officer replies, I'm not sure. We have a hooligan to break it, a hooligan tool, so you can just break the lock and move in at the door.
Okay, so what did you need a key for if you had the hooligan?
41, 4 first responders in the room from the east hallway. You had 2 constables, a fire marshal, and UPD officer. So officers continue to flood into the particular area. So we had 11 to begin with. We've had another 4 officers to it. The DPS trooper was the first DPS officer to arrive.
Director McCraw, we've got to ask you this.
Yes.
Best you can, speak into the mic.
Oh, yes, sir. I apologize.
So the system can.
I'm going to jump ahead in the interest of time, guys.
That would be.
Yes. And of course, I know that you may have some questions on the door and other questions that I'm ready to discuss right now with some of the pictures that we have. And I thank you for the opportunity to have gone through that.
So you're ready
pissed.
to get some questions now?
Yes, sir.
He on a mission.
I've got a couple, and then we'll open it up. You said the outside door was unlocked.
Yes, sir.
Now, was that lock, as I understand it, there at one time was a rock, the teacher removed the rock, the teacher closed the door or heard slam the door. We don't know really what all to believe because we've heard so much stuff. But was the door closed, and did the lock just not work?
The only way you can lock these exterior doors in the west building, there's 4 doors. One is for the library and 3 other entrances, east, west, and south. The only way to do that is from the outside. You can't do it otherwise. So when she knocked the rock out, it closed securely, but there's no way for her to tell that the door was unlocked. The only way to know that the door is unlocked is go out, close the door, okay, then try it.
Damn.
So that's the only way you can tell on this particular model.
But he came straight through the door with no problem.
It was unlocked. He walked.
That's fucking interesting, ain't it? This door was unlocked. So the initial thing of the door just being unlocked was true. He went straight for the door that was unlocked. If you look back at the video where, let me see. Where am I at now, man? Okay. So in red, he said that was the suspect, right? Like right around here, if you can see my mouse, he was at the south entrance. He was at the south entrance, and he walked up. He walked directly up to the west entrance door. Did he already know that shit was unlocked? Did he already know that shit was unlocked? It's a lot of questions for me here. Let's go back.
Okay, then try it. So that's the only way you can tell on this particular model.
But he came straight through the door with no problem.
It was unlocked. He walked straight through it.
So did y'all check the lock later to see if the lock was malfunctioning, or was it working?
Yes, the locks were working fine, and that on the exterior doors, the locks were working fine. Now I can tell you, looking at the picture here, you don't need a key to get into this building. It could have been locked. This glass doesn't have mesh on it. All you have to do is shoot through this glass.
And then hit the fucking
reach
button.
in. There's a bar. Well, here's a bar. Pull that, and you're in. Now, the subject would have known that. He would have known it. And the same thing, these panes are also vulnerability.
Yeah, anybody can look at that and tell it'd be easy to take a gun and shoot holes in it and reach it around.
Yes, sir.
But the first question was, the lock was functioning correctly?
The lock was functioning correctly, and the door was unlocked. It was closed but unlocked.
I thought when it closed, it was supposed to automatically lock.
Well, you can set it to two. You can set it to two sections, and it's similar to the actual door on the interior as well. You can turn it all the way one direction. It's unlocked. You can turn it another direction, and it's in the lock.
Okay,
position.
so the latch was working functionally.
So the fucking doors were working perfectly fine. The doors were working perfectly fine. So they wanted to say, oh, the teacher left the door cracked. Not true. Door was shut and secure. However, they were unlocked. Apparently, LP says, where's it at? The south door was also unlocked. The cop on site was not in the building. Whole thing was unsecure. I'm gonna look that up, Ronan, the Gladio. I started looking up it a little bit, but we're I'm gonna look it up a little later, and I'm gonna touch on that. I appreciate you. LP says the thing I don't get is how they looking for keys for doors when all them holes was unlocked. Exactly, that's what I said in the beginning. You looking for keys, but the doors is unlocked. They saying that we tried all of these keys to no avail, but the fucking doors is unlocked. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Hotep says I work in the security industry, and if schools would have had card access controlled doors, they would have been locked anyway. Yeah, my kids' schools are like that here in Baltimore. My kids' schools are like that now. Kids' schools are fucking hardened. See, people think when you hear harden the schools, you got fucking, this shit gonna look like Guantanamo Bay. No. Harden the schools mean, automatically locking doors, camera systems, making sure that, people can, you gotta buzz somebody in, shit like that, school resource officers, what I mean? Depending on how dangerous the area is, metal detectors. Here in Baltimore, kids gotta wear clear book bags, make sure they ain't strapped. But see, the left sells this idea of hardening schools like these motherfuckers going into a fucking supermax. The crazy part in the beginning when we heard that the doors were unlocked, because that was the initial thing, the doors were unlocked. Then they switched it to, oh no, the teacher left the door unlocked. Now we back to the doors were unlocked in the first fucking place. That shit glow to me, yo. By the way, salute to my man Jay Pylon and Emmanuel Presley. They are members of the Cannon Hotep Army. They are A1 members. And you can be an A1 member too. Just hit that join button down below. You know, for a cup of coffee a month, you can be a member of, you know, you can be an A1 member of the Cannon Hotep Army. So again, you know, if you see me fit to be, you know, you see me fit and I'm your favorite YouTuber out here in these streets, you know, join now. Like I said, it's a cup of coffee a month. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Yes, sir. Well, it was just turned in a position when you close it, it doesn't lock.
Exactly. Someone did not lock that door.
Okay.
And similarly, the south door, which I described officers going in early on, that door was unlocked as well.
Second thing, okay, you may have just said what I was fixing to ask, but the classroom door, was it locked or not locked?
The classroom door, if we can get a picture of it, I think this one is probably the best example to, if you don't mind. This isn't the actual door. Well, this shouldn't really. This is the actual door, but we really don't want to use that. This is room 127 and 126. That's what 111. That's 112 and 111 would look like in that regard.
So there would be a joint.
And here's the door. You cannot lock this door from the inside of the classroom. There's nothing the teacher could do to lock the door inside the classroom. The teacher can come outside the classroom as the requirement is to lock the door with a key, only with a key, and this right here by turning it, you know, and the lock position. And I can actually have the door of another. This came from the West Building, one of the doors right here, and I can demonstrate that if you'd like at this time, Mr. Chairman.
So the teacher could not even lock the classroom door from.
Sorry, Hotep Oz. Just under the video, the live stream, the video, you'll see a join button. Right next to the subscribe button, you see the join button.
The inside?
That's correct. There's no way to lock the door from the inside, and there's no way for the subject to lock the door from the inside.
It was open.
We'd heard reports that the lock was malfunctioning, that they had turned in a request for the lock to be fixed. Is that all fictitious? Or
we had a locksmith inspect the lock and the strike plate. The lock was functional. The strike plate was not. What's not happening is, so as you can see on this door here, is that yes, the lock was working as it was designed, but if it doesn't, if the through doesn't get into the strike plate, it may be locked, but it's not secure. You can just open it. And that's, you know, so you can it can be the locked position, ironically, in the locked position or unlocked position, and it's still unsecured and can be opened.
Okay, so there was never a request.
And that's always been a thing in schools. Like I said, I remember elementary school, middle school, high school, the teachers could only lock the doors to the classrooms from the outside. It's always been a thing. Right? Now, I do remember back in the day where teachers could lock the outside doors, the doors leading outside, with like one of those special keys that, like where that bar is to push to go open. You could, there was like a special situation where you could turn something in there and it would lock it on both sides. You know what I mean? But this shit is crazy that both those doors were unlocked when they're not supposed to be.
To have a lock fixed?
There was evidence that the requests were made about that lock based on an interview with the teacher and also some reports that we found of submissions to have it fixed.
So a teacher thought the lock was broken?
Yes, the teacher was convinced it was unlocked, and it was broken and reported earlier.
And was that request made like days before the shooting, or weeks, or months?
I think I can't say. I'd have to go back and get the exact timeline. I don't have that right now. Chairman, I'll get that back to you in the committee, exactly what days that were requested that they would be fixed.
On the officer's radio, you know, I heard he went in without his radio, then he obviously was requesting his radio.
Yes, sir.
But I was told later, or maybe by you or someone else, that the radio would not actually function inside the school.
Yes, sir.
Because it did not have the strength to reach out of the school.
Yes, sir. We conducted a threat and vulnerability assessment of the site while we had control of the school. And our DPS special agents brought in our communications team, and we conducted tests of everybody's portable radio, Uvalde PD, Sheriff's Office, Border Patrol, DPS, everybody's portable radio in that West building. And the only portable radios that worked in that West building were Border Patrols.
Wow.
Okay? They were the only ones that worked.
All right, so we've got a police school officer whose radio will not work inside the school.
That's correct. Yes, sir. And nor would the PDs, okay? So if they're responding to assist.
That's crazy.
Nor would the sheriff's office if they're responding to assist, and nor will DPS officers if they're responding to assist. The Border Patrol has a station there in Uvalde, and that's why they had so many agents in the area. And of course, they've got a stronger, boost on their particular tower. I can tell you that even when we take Border Patrol and we were able to link them and patch them all together, then even Border Patrol's radios didn't work.
That's interesting.
Okay. I've got Senator Zaffarini raised her hand first. Senator Zaffarini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colonel McGraw, you talked about different stages of this tragedy, starting with the shooter's social media messages, his communications with people, including the young woman and the young lady in Germany.
That's my question, Demonette.
Communications. You
like,
talked
why wouldn't
about
the radios
communication
work?
among the officers, the radio communications and others. Looking back specifically at all of those areas of this tragedy that you have addressed, what is it that we must change going forward? What lessons have we learned that we could implement going forward?
And one thing we did early on.
All right, so he basically gave all the facts that he got so far, with his boards and all that other stuff. That shit's crazy. You know what I mean? That's eye-opening, right? That's eye-opening. Damn. The police botched it all the way around. He said it in the beginning. Right? 14 minutes and 58 seconds. That's how long it took to even begin to respond. That's just fucking infuriating. They dropped the ball all the way around. Right? Like he said, you hear gunshots, especially with the babies, you run to the danger. You don't treat it like a hostage situation. We got the subject barricaded in the building. No, you don't. You do not. On top of that, he has access to them children. Then on top of that, they lied about trying to find keys to get into the doors when the doors were unlocked. Which is fucking crazy in itself. It's fucking crazy in itself. Shit is fucking ridiculous. I mean, they need to upgrade that fucking. I guess they need the police department needs some upgrades. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, Handy Bob. Yeah, concrete and steel wreak havoc on radio equipment. But I remember in my school was nothing but concrete and steel, and Baltimore County Police Department the radio still worked. Now granted, maybe more funding, better towers, shit like that. Whew, excuse me. Better, I get that. But it just didn't, all the people's shit didn't work but Border Patrol. You know what I mean? It's just fucking nuts. You know, and the story changed up so much. Remember that? All in press conferences and shit like that. Something. I know, right? Yeah, firefighters don't hesitate. That's right. Jay said, infuriates me. Firefighters run to the fire. LP says, can you believe they want you you and I disarmed? When we have, yeah, government funded boots that, who move like this, they leave you for dead. That's 100% because they're not obligated to, protect you. That was a Supreme Court opinion. They're not obligated to protect you, right? And it's sad. It's fucking sad, that these kids, for that amount of time, lived in fear like that. That those kids had to lose their lives. How many lives could have been saved if they'd have just fucking went in there? Fuck it, I got a pistol. I'm gonna make this motherfucker work. Come on. Now I'll be the first person to say, if I'm in the shit, I want me an AR, right? However, come on, guys, you're supposed to be proficient with your fucking your sidearms. Handy Bob says, name one thing Gov does right on any level, local, state, or federal. Facts. But the thing that gets me, the thing that makes me feel like this shit glows in the fucking dark is the fact that the doors were unlocked. The doors were unlocked and they wasn't broken. Nothing was wrong with them. They just was unlocked. The school resource officer wasn't on site. Then he, quote unquote, speeds back to the school past the fucking shooter in the he walking. And that picture they had, I don't see no fucking trees where you could hide behind them and get, it's a fucking open field from the gate to the school. And you drive right past them. I didn't see him. You fucking kidding me? Something don't sound right to me. Something don't make sense to me. And like LP said, he's right. When seconds count, cops are minutes away. And in this case, fucking literally minutes away. Literally minutes away. But oh no, we can't arm the teachers. We can't let teachers carry guns. Are you crazy? They're there to teach. I bet you now there's a couple teachers probably just they get strapped. They strapped anyway. I bet you. They want to take your right to self-preservation, your right to defend yourself away. You have the right to defend yourself by any means necessary, by any means you see fit to defend yourself with. But they don't want that. They want all the power in the hands of the state. They want the monopoly on power in the hands of the state. And look how it failed these kids. Look how it failed these kids. But the logic, the fucking liberal logic, yo, it drives me insane when you try to explain to these people like, yo, so you rather those kids waited 44 minutes than for a teacher to have a gun? Because if it was me, I would want my kids to have a fucking fighting chance. I would hope the teacher in my kids' class would have something. Oh, but what if teachers, they get mad at the kids and they shoot the kids? Like, get the fuck out of here. Where are these scenarios coming from? Anything to fucking win your argument, huh? Not anything about the kids. Teachers shouldn't have to carry. Okay. Then all these veterans coming home, hire them, make them school resource officers. They used to getting shot at. Give them a nice little starting salary. You know what I mean? Ricky B says they don't want the blame placed on them, but blame everyone and everything else. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. You know what I mean? But the liberal logic drives me insane. The mental gymnastics that they use to make their bullshit logic make sense is Olympic level. You know what I mean? I swear, yo.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Like all the time. Your solution to evil, because you can't legislate away evil, you can't legislate away violence. So your solution is to hamstring the law-abiding citizens, the good guys, right? And make them soft targets for the bad guys. You know what the common denominator is with these school shootings? That they're gun-free zones. They're gun-free zones. When I was on the Two Feds podcast, I said that. They said, "Do you think we should harden our schools?" And I said, "Yo, every time I hear that shit, I fucking laugh because Baltimore and Natasha know, Emmanuel know. Yo, here in Baltimore, schools already hardened. Schools already secure. And that was just by way of fucking gang violence and neighborhood beefs and shit like that is why the schools here are like that. But they already unhardened. Natasha says we need to work on normalizing guns like that guy who made a video riding his bike with an AR on his back. People fear what they don't know. That's facts. Ronan says they have no logic, only indoctrination and reprogramming. That's facts. But people got to understand this. People got to understand. What's up, Holly? Holly September, what's going on? Welcome. Hey, if you're new, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Please share the stream, let people know we're live. The notification icon. If you want to become a member of the Canon Hotep Nation, the Canon Hotep Army, you want to become an A1 member, hit that join button. Only costs a cup of coffee. I appreciate you. It helps keep this train afloat. I said it again. Helps keep this train moving. This boat afloat. If you don't want to give a super chat, you can also Cash App Canon Hotep. $ Canon Hotep. From California, I'm sorry for you out there in California. I was out there for like 3 days. I was like, shit, it's crazy out here. Like, I can't live here. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. The weather was fantastic. I was in San Luis Obispo doing some turkey hunting. It was great. We went to go look for a shotgun at a local Dick's Sporting Goods. They said, we don't sell any guns anymore. I was like, damn. I thought y'all just got rid of the ARs and shit. No, we don't sell nothing. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. But anyway, like I'm saying, this shit glows to me. Both doors were unlocked. The school resource officer wasn't there. So he just walked right in the fucking school. Certain classroom was unlocked. This shit glows. Oh, let's not forget that the fucking thousands of dollars of fucking equipment he had, including a $2,000 Daniel Defense rifle. Let's not forget about that. Right? Rona says everything about this situation was targeted, designed, and formulated. Fun fact: this very town arrested 2 young men back in 2018, I believe, who were planning to shoot a school. Yeah, the gentleman that we were listening to, Steve McCraw, he mentioned that. But they refused to release their names. Holly September with a $4.99 super chat. Just leaves a $4.99 super chat and walks away. I appreciate you. This was all a part of the plans, my friends. Holly September says they sell them, but it's a long process. It's crazy. But check it, guys. Think about it, right? How come it's just things you got to think about, right? How come every time these shits happen, right? It's always an election year. Always an election year. That's a good question, Kayak Dog. That's a good question. It's a really good question. I'd like to know that. But is that who he was talking? I mean, but I would assume they were like 2018. I would assume they're in jail or whatever. But who knows? It's just interesting, man. Like I said, the chain of events, the way shit played out, the conveniences of the, the coincidences of the doors being unlocked, right? That's crazy to me. But people, they love to believe that official narrative. They love to believe that official narrative, don't they? You know what I mean? Let me see something. Where am I at? Go back. I'm trying to get back. Hold on. Is that? Yeah. So check this out, y'all. So like I said, so if you can see my mouse, he crashed right here, right? Boom. All right. He gets out. He only lived 0.2 miles away. He could have walked. He gets out, right? He shoots at the funeral home right here where two guys were outside, right? I'm assuming that they called 911. I know the one guy said he called his wife after the fact, told her, bring me my shit. It's a guy running into the school with a gun, right? Said his wife got there like a minute later with his shit, right? The kid then walks after engaging these people here, jumps a fence right here, right? Jumps a fence. I'm going to assume that from here to here, that's a nice little walk, right? Let's just say that's a 200-yard walk. That's a 200-yard walk, right? 200 yards, right? He comes down here. Now this is the south entrance right here. That door was unlocked. But he enters the west entrance. Door is unlocked. Why? The school resource officer, which is this blue right here, right? This blue right here apparently is the school resource officer. As this kid is just walking here, right? Because he's still opening fire on the school as well. He drives straight past this motherfucker. So apparently the kid was right here. This dude drops straight past him, says he don't see him. Drops straight past him. Fuck you. And then apparently, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And it, in my opinion, he drives past the entire the entrance of the school or whatever, right? Unless this is the entrance, but regardless, he drives right past the guy. How convenient is that? How convenient is that? The shit just, I'm sorry guys, the shit just glows to me. And it's sad because they use kids as cannon fodder. The shit fucking, it's painful to think about. You know what I mean? Rona says it's all part of the plans. Where we at? Yeah, the dude at the funeral home had a little cousin or something like that, or a relative that went to the school that he said got, she was tragically struck, Kayak Dog says Jones destroyed for trying to talk about how school shootings are being used to push gun control. Shootings will continue until they get all the guns. It's facts. You know what I mean? You don't gotta be a genius to see that this shit happen every election cycle. Every time they want to do some shit. Just go back and look at history. Look at recent history. Go back and look at Vegas. Go back and look at, remember the Fort Lauderdale shit? Go back and look at Parkland. Look at what the years were. Go back and look at Floyd. Holly says, I can't get out of my head how Border Patrol kids were at the school and how the chief told them to stand down. I don't have a tinfoil hat on, but this stinks. of potential cartel involvement. You're not the first person to say that, Holly. You're not the first person to say that at all. You know, you're not the first person to say it. Ronan says, with the kids arrested, I did not know. I suspect that the shooter is one of the said kids arrested. 13. So they said 2018, 13, 14, 18. I don't know. Maybe that would make him 17. Maybe he was on the way to be 14. Could be. You could be right. That's that. Hey, you could be right on that, Ronan. You could be right. LP says resource officer saw a teacher and thought it was the shooter. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Sauce with a $9.99 super chat, my man. You get the Don DeMarco for that. Them knocking down the school. Wait, what? Them knocking down the school makes it look like more of a scheduled operation now. Those poor children didn't deserve it. Wow. Holy shit. They knocking down the school for real? I didn't hear about that. Oh my God, yeah. Robb Elementary School, look at this. Go figure. Robb Elementary School, the site of a massacre will be demolished. There was another event that happened, some years back that a certain guy may have gotten in trouble for saying some things about, where apparently maybe that school was never open or was shut down. It wasn't actually, in use. I can't put it past nobody. I can't put it past it. Did I not show it? There we go. I apologize. There you go. Robb Elementary School, site of the massacre will be demolished. Uvalde mayor says. It's interesting. Kai Dog says, could have used that 50 bill sent to Ukraine to harden the schools. That's true, including armed security. Yeah, they definitely could have. Not canon. This shooting happened on Klaus Schwab's birthday. If you believe in ritualistic sacrifices, take a look into said practices. Ooh, that's interesting too. I think Jay might have brought that up. LP says, I was watching Donut Operator and he was saying those Border Patrol guys are trained like special forces types. They took the shooter out while local PD sat back. Jay says, how else they going to cover tracks? When it glows, That's true. They're knocking down the school to rid of any evidence. Yeah, they are. People going to revisit it. It's just interesting. That's crazy, guys. That's fucking nuts. All this stuff coming out. Now, I'll encourage you guys to go back and go listen to his testimony. Not only his testimony, but there's 10 hours of testimony from yesterday that barely made any news. You know what I mean? At least none that I seen. I didn't know until I saw Donut Operator. I was like, what is he? I thought he was recapping like maybe something that happened. No, that shit was still going on. It was 10 hours straight. He had to rewind the shit and start from scratch. Looked like. Shit look crazy. That's fucking nuts. And they're fucking demolishing the school. They're demolishing the school. And you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen from the powers that be in the media? You know what they're going to say about that? Crickets. Nothing. They're not going to say a goddamn thing. No, Sauce, what you say? What you say on it? But that shit is crazy, man. I feel bad. I feel bad for these, for the families. I feel sorry for the families. I feel sorry for, those kids that survived that and got to live that trauma. You know what I mean? And the kids that, that died as a result of this. It's heartbreaking. It's infuriating. Especially when you look at what's the word? All this evidence that's coming out to the contrary of what we were told in the beginning. That shit pisses me off. It pisses me off. Again, like I said, prayers go out to the kids. Prayers go out to the family members. Prayers go out to the victims. Hope they find peace. Hope they find peace. But this is sad. This is sad. What's up, Ahmad? What's up, Ahmad? I know you didn't get that notification. You know how they do you. You know how they do you. Happy you can join us, though. Sauce says, mention something about a possible link to the birds washing up on Martha Vineyards where their specific facility on Plum Island in the Big Apple. A bunch of sketchy stuff happens there. Oh, nah, damn, bro. You serious? That's interesting. That's interesting. I wouldn't put it past that. You might got a point, sir. You might got a point. You might got a point. Let's look into that. But that whole situation is fucking sketchy in itself. That whole situation is way fucking sketchy. I'm just gonna put it like that. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Before I go, though, please remember, Hotep weekend is coming up August 11th through the 13th at the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be a ball, y'all. It's going to be a blast. Hotep's been told you live before studio audience. We got Chef Mark, celebrity Chef Mark. We're going to have a food tasting that night. Fucking fantastic, phenomenal food. We're going to be Hotep and building, mind melding, guys. You get to shoot with me. We're going to talk 2A, all things 2A. We're going to go shooting at the range, pool party, fucking VIP dinner. I'm talking the works, guys. We got amazing special guests. We got Project Rook. We got Crypto Wendy Yo. We got Sonny Johnson. We got Kimberly Klasick coming through, guys. We got Natasha Kayleen. I think you said you're gonna be there, right, Natasha? We got Ricky Bascom and my man Cassius Cam performing. It's gonna be lit, guys. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be a fucking hell of a time. So get your tickets while you can. Get your tickets while you can. Use the promo code Cannon. CANNON. Again, use the promo code Cannon. CANNON to get 10% off your tickets. Be there, be square, guys. Super Carlo says, I wish I could. What's up, Super Carlo? He said, I wish I could go. I'd love to go shooting with Cannon. Hey, we're gonna have some fun. You know what I mean? Handybot says, good stream. Glad your speech therapy worked out for the better. Yeah, I was struggling yesterday. I was struggling like crazy. I started looking into that, Ahmad. I got to look more into it. That's crazy. So I'm going to probably check that out tomorrow. There's a lot of strange shit happening right now. We're in some strange times, guys. We're definitely in some strange and trying times right now. You know what I mean? Oh, there you go. Natasha locked in for Hotep weekend. She said, what it do? Don't be coming for me. It's right. You know how it is here in Baltimore, Natasha. But anyway. This Cannon Hotep saying, stay safe, stay well. Stay strapped. Don't fall for the hook, people. It's distractions everywhere. I'll holler at you guys.